Hi, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Prey vs. Predator. This episode is part of a series we're doing with a very special guest and friend of the pod, Sophia. She has such an incredible story, and we didn't want to cut it short. Some of the details of her story are really difficult to hear, so listener discretion is advised. Finally, quick reminder that we have a Patreon page. You can give as little as $3 a month to support us in our efforts to educate and arm the prey of the world. Thanks again for tuning in, and we really hope you enjoyed this episode.
Sophia and I have known each other for a while, and your marriage was seen as the marriage. We can all have a marriage like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It built to that place.
Absolutely.
It's like the public persona of what was
You
going
were the
on.
power couple.
And there was a season of that. There was a honeymoon period, right? Where after the release of all your guilt and all of this stuff and woohoo, right? So there was a high after, and that started to build us back together as a couple, right? We ended up having another child and all of those things. And so it was more connected for a season, right?
And so you still have the ministry and you still have the church as well.
Yes. So no, we had just the ministry, and then fast forward, have another child, etc. All these things. We did another church, and then we planted a church. So we did that. And then from there, it started again, like the pressure, the roles, the expectations for him to perform, really, because you have to run something, and he already had a history of not being effective. So now you're getting feedback from a board, you're getting feedback from a leadership team. So stress is now mounting again, right?
So do you think his acting out was in response to stress and pressure?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'm going instead of stress and pressure, I want to say
accountability.
Accountability.
Okay.
Yes, that's a great word. Yes, accountability. Yes, that's brilliant.
Because this is predators do not do well with accountability.
Yes. And when a leadership team would hold him accountable, it was very reactionary.
Yeah, unless everybody's saying you're doing great and you're an amazing person, which
he
they
needs
can
the
fake.
Cookies, like the ego cookies, right? Like that. And when you're up there,
cookies.
you get the cookies.
I'm writing that one down.
Right?
Yep.
I need cookies, and that role gives you so many, right? And who's not giving him cookies anymore? The one at home who's not being treated the same way as all the people in your public eye.
Yeah.
Right?
You also want him to eat some fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
And be healthy.
And take out the trash.
Yeah.
So then that escalated, and we'll fast forward to the next disclosure. So we did that for quite a while, but it was mounting the pressure. And then by then there's a shift in me.
Okay. I want to hear about that.
I'm no longer buying the storyline that it's all me.
Good job.
So okay, freeze there for a sec. How did that shift happen? Like, was there a moment? Was there an incident? How did that happen?
I think it was this gradual building of myself. Gone back to work more like as a different career. The children are getting older now. I have a little bit more time to reflect. I can't say that there was a moment, but I have a moment in my journal. Like a moment where I was like, this, I see it. I couldn't deal with it yet, but I could see, and I started to write down like, this is not okay. And so it just came out of that I was crying in my sleep. Things were very unsettled for me. I was disoriented. I didn't know what was going on. Like I was losing myself. I was no longer able to be that person that just could pour it out and pour it. Like I finally, I think, hit E. Like I don't have any more to give. I'm spent.
So this woman who was so strong, and could raise children under an abusive situation and do ministry and give. When you hit E, you know it's a big E.
Yeah,
I'm guessing
it's huge. And now I start vocalizing. I start saying things. my needs are not being met.
So you start holding them accountable.
Yeah. And then I remember saying, I don't like who I'm becoming in this relationship. Yeah. I'm losing myself. I feel angry. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm the most peaceful, loving, but it's changing who I am, and I'm scared.
Would it be fair to say you're behaving in ways that are against your own value system?
Yes. I'm starting to react again.
Yes.
I can't cope.
Had the word abuse hit your lips yet? Or no, not yet?
No.
Was there a moment where you, I want to hear about that.
So that all escalated to that point. That conversation was in the fall. Then we got through Christmas. We went away over spring break. And while we were in another location, one of my children discovered things on a phone. Mm. And that unraveled everything again. It all came out. He was very reactive, explosive. I just saw that there was another affair. All of this happened while I'm in another country. And
with your child seeing it too.
Yeah. And the trauma of that.
For them.
Oh, yes. And we were there with another family.
Did the children know anything about anything before this?
The children knew, in a careful way, our story as narrated as a beautiful story of redemption.
Okay.
So when they came of age where we thought that they were able to handle it, they got to hear the beautiful story.
Okay. Of redemption. So
redemption and how their father fought.
So it was really framed as him as the hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
not
yeah. So it was buffered.
Yeah.
They were buffered.
And your mom was Jesus in my life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Like,
right?
Yeah, it's so much pressure. I remember my mom would say that to me. Something like, "You saved me."
Yeah.
And I was just like,
no pressure.
Even as a child, I remember thinking, that makes me uncomfortable because it's not my job to save you.
Yeah.
You're creating me to do a job that is not my job. Yeah. It's not my role. And same for you. When you get into a marriage, it's not your role to save somebody else.
Totally.
Maybe if you're swimming and they need some help, that's a different situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're away.
I'm away with one of my children who phones my other children back at home.
Okay.
And they all know and are figuring out what to do for mom.
Oh, no. And you're with another family.
I'm with another family.
And you have to act like everything is normal.
Oh, I didn't cope.
Good job.
I hit the ground.
And were you with your ex, the predatory
He's there.
person? Yes.
He's there. He's reactive. He's angry. He's cornered. He's a predator with his claws out.
Okay. So now is this the first time you're seeing this real predator come out?
At that level?
At that level.
But not carefully manicured predator?
He couldn't keep it together. Yeah. He couldn't keep it together.
So what did that look like? Like what did that feel like and look like?
The defense and the contempt. I would say, like he was walking in contempt over that. Like I saw it manifesting. I knew he was contemptuous over that year when I was crying in my sleep and we were not connecting. And I was begging him, we have to fix this. I don't like who I'm becoming. We have to work on this. What
was the contempt? What was the message to you?
Just everything. Anytime I would give feedback about how I'm experiencing things, he was so angry.
Okay.
And so in that day, it was all the things. Well, I love her. It was a 22-year-old, like a year older than my daughter. And I love her. And it just just freaking out. Right. And just anger. And there was no sadness, just anger.
So he was
anger.
And
controlled it.
At what? What was he angry at?
I think being caught. He was so angry. He was so angry. And so I was devastated. We booked an emergency flight home. And then,
what did the other family do? I know this is they're
trying to help me, trying to help him.
Yeah.
The husband's that way, I'm this way. Mm-hmm. There's all these kids who deeply saw him as their spiritual father.
Yeah.
He's their pastor.
Yeah.
So everyone's wiped out. And so, and this is how the environment and how even when you train your children to love, my children put his favorite chocolate bar on a pillow in a spare room for him when we got home from our trip. We love you. We'll figure this out. I've perpetuated this. Like, it makes me sick to my stomach.
Just loving.
Yeah. They're so loving. And they are doing the same thing.
It's beautiful. It is
that I don't see your abuse. I see your brokenness. And so I'm not acknowledging my own suffering. I'm sacrificing myself for you.
Yeah.
We're all sacrificing ourselves for you.
Yeah.
And you don't give a shit. You are taking and abusing. And you are, when we ever say, hey, can you not bite? You say, you're so bitey. Why do you bite?
So demanding.
So demanding.
Yeah. You ask so much of me. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Can't you see I'm hurting?
Yeah.
So, but seeing your pain as you're speaking about the kids and using the word you're perpetuating, and I just think perpetuating, you taught them how to love.
Yeah.
You loved them.
Yeah.
And you taught them what love, and love looks beautiful. You get to make mistakes in love.
Yeah.
And still be loved.
Yes. I agree.
And so this is a beauty, because forgiving somebody who made a mistake, that is not that in my mind isn't the problem. That's the beauty of who you and your children were.
Yeah.
That you offered it to a predator. You had no ability to understand at that moment that the predator is the problem, not the prey.
Yeah.
The prey offering themselves, offering love and kindness and forgiveness. I'm so proud of you guys and them. We all just, when we heard that, just put our hands over our heart. Like, we felt that love. The challenge is the predator throws it in the garbage and just ruins it, destroys it, consumes it. That's the problem.
I agree.
Not the love.
Yeah. And
so
I know
well
that
done,
now, but boy, did we not know that, right?
Yeah. No.
Oh,
You can't see that. You can't see that in the moment. They can't see that in the moment. They're just loving with abandon.
They're doing what they know how to do.
Yeah.
And what you taught them.
Yeah.
To love. To forgive.
Yeah.
And in rightful relationship.
Yeah.
In non-predatory relationship.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That is a gift unlike any other.
It's also how children are wired.
Yeah.
We've all seen it where, a child will come from such a broken, sad home with a parent who obviously needs a lot of help, and they still want to go be with that person. And it's like, what? Like, how do you want to be with that person? So I think children are just hardwired for that.
Connection.
Yeah. And parent connection.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like I've seen and heard of the most abusive situations, and the child still wants to go back.
Exactly.
So I think that even in that situation, I see your grief around it. That is how a child is created. And so there's something beautiful about that, that they don't lose it. However, that person is not safe to give it to. And that's where.
Well, knowing the vulnerability.
Yeah.
That's what hurts to hear.
Yeah.
Knowing that they offered that level of love.
I know.
And we're sitting here going like, we already know the end of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has been devastating.
But talk to us about how that, so they're ready to love and forgive.
Yeah. Then the next morning, we have a family disclosure where my children hold him accountable.
Wow.
We all sit in a circle and say, what
Your
have you
kids
done?
are strong.
What have you done? And they said this round, they are the ones who said, if you leave one detail out, we will never speak to you again.
Wow.
And he disclosed again, hookers, porn, all the things, an affair, all of it comes out.
And they aren't children at this time.
No, they're young adults. Yeah. And so.
But they also don't know who they're dealing with.
No, They don't.
Right?
They
But
have
you
no
you
clue.
have a sense.
I know.
You have a
and
sense.
this is what was different this time.
Okay.
I knew.
You knew.
And I said, get out.
Good.
Get out. Pack up and go.
To who?
To my partner. I finally had the strength to set a boundary.
Enough.
And he was so shocked. He said, later, he said, I never thought you would ever kick me out.
I was counting on it.
He was counting on it. And so we separated.
What happened to the church, too? Tell us that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you because it's the next line in the story.
Okay, got it.
You can imagine we are on vacation. We have a church. Sunday's coming. We cancel for that first Sunday. And then they create a meeting where he tells them, this is what's going on and we need to take a break and you guys can decide what to do. But it was so dependent. It was so dependent on us. It's a smaller gathering. It imploded. The board just shut her down and then it harmed so many people. It was devastating.
Can I just ask, like, what was the countenance of this disclosure? Because we've had I'm bad, I'm wrong, I'm terrible, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
What I've done to you, and then the next one was a different energy. This is trauma. This is not my fault. And what was the energy of this one?
I would say he would still perpetuate the story of the victimhood story.
Okay.
He was grooming the church for a long time, teaching forgiveness and grace and unconditional love. So there was a huge amount of grooming that was going on to make sure that the betrayer would be seen as the redeemed and that it's our job to love and to help them. So he had set it up that way.
Sure,
and I would say there was only 2 women who opposed that. And they were seen as absolute villains in the story because they said, this is bullshit. This is bullshit, this storyline. And they were trouble.
What was the storyline they saw?
They saw him as a predator.
Wow. And they were evil.
And they were evil. And they were rejected from the community.
Wow.
And
by him or all the other people?
All of them.
Wow.
They were rejected, crazy.
Not forgiving.
Yeah.
Not loving.
Bitter, scorned women. Yeah.
So the church was ready to forgive.
Yes. I think
No,
it was a mix. I don't know because it was,
Were you there at the meeting?
No.
No, but
I was drinking.
But you had
I was drinking with a friend.
you had kicked him out.
Yeah.
So were you scorned? Were you bad or
there
wrong?
was some support at the beginning, for sure.
Okay.
Like casseroles come, right?
Okay.
But the narrative, he had everyone encompassed. They felt sorry for him and tucked him in. And
No, did they feel sorry for him because of the way you had treated him as well?
I think they understood that.
So that wasn't.
But people didn't know what to do with me.
Right.
They don't know what to do, so they just quietly back away. I don't think that everyone was like thinking that. I don't think anyone was accusing of me. I think they knew who I was.
And what did you even need at that time? Like,
what do you
need? Like,
you can't really. We are all a mess.
Yeah.
It was just triage, right? My children are a mess. I'm a mess.
Yeah.
I can't cope. I had to just take the church box and just go.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Whatever. Here you go. I couldn't even check in with it. And I couldn't deal even with contact from people. I kind of put some boundaries out there like, okay, I can't answer the questions. And we just had to kind of figure it out. And then he tried very hard to come in and with that, let me back into your world. And then he said to me, our yard was a mess. And he said, the yard is a representation of my life and I'm going to come every Saturday and prune it and fix it. And you'll know I'm better it'll show, right? Well, I can tell you today, my yard looks like shit. It didn't work out because he thought it would only take a week or 2. And I held my boundary and he got more and more angry.
He got angry.
Yeah. He didn't show it, but I could see it.
How did you see it? If he didn't show
that
it?
Contempt. the facial expression of contempt, it's this pursing of the lips that say whatever I'm saying isn't actually, there's no congruency between my expression and what I'm saying, right? It's that cognitive dissonance when you're experiencing something, right? It's like you're saying something, but I'm not experiencing it that way.
My ex-partner would say to me, literally said, you need to listen to the words I'm speaking, not my body language.
Yeah, right.
He would actually say that.
What's the 80-20 rule again?
Yeah.
Which way did it
Yeah,
go?
Right,
exactly.
because I would say, your words are saying one thing, but everything in your body is saying another thing. And I can't listen to your words when I'm seeing that body.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was trying to describe to you when we'd have conflict. He'd say the right things, but there was no congruency, right?
Yes.
There was no congruency between his body. It's so confusing.
That's what I think about. I think that was my big word when I was sharing even my story. It's like confusion. And I think that's as a prey because you don't operate that way. So you're confused a lot of the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Discombobulation.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a symptom. I could say that right there, that's a symptom.
Because your brain is trying to make sense of the words.
Totally.
And your body knows the truth.
Yeah.
So your body is getting impacted by the reality of the anger, hate, contempt, disgust. Yeah. But your brain is hearing, I love you. Yeah. I want this to work.
Yeah, I'll try harder.
Okay, so
yeah. You want to hear the ultimate incongruent?
Yes.
So he ends up back into therapy, having a mentor, all of these things. And part of the process was making amends. So he asked if he can come and have a separate amends with each of the children and me. He's doing the work, right? When he sat with me, everything in my body again just started to just bristle. It was like, he's saying all these things, but something's just not sitting right. My kids, they're like, one of my children specifically the whole time just said, bullshit, you're lying, could pick it up. Wow. Or like the others were like, we want to believe this so badly, right? Yeah, and so this happened. And it turned out that in that year where he was trying to garden and then I let him come in and see the kids like once a week, come for dinner, right? Mm-hmm, but he would fall asleep because he was so stressed and he'd just check out. They're like, you only see us once a week, but you fall asleep on the couch. Like, this is so brutal, right? And disappointing. And so then he's trying to like lure and work to come back, right? And I just kept feeling this incongruence. And so then he asked me to go for counseling. Mm-hmm. And this is over a long period of time. Like, this is now like, say 8 months. We've done Christmas. I let him come for Christmas. Everything was so brutal and hard because they're separated, but I'm trying to still
be normal,
include him in certain levels. And we're talking. And then I went on a trip and I had to go, I had to go and submit my receipts. And then that following spring, so a year later, I found all kinds of hotel bills and all of the garbage was still there. Then I dug deeper. He was still having an affair. He was still doing the things that he was doing. He's actually more immersed than ever while he's telling us that he's working on his stuff and while he's in marriage counseling with me.
Yeah.
And the marriage counselor said, he's one of the most charming men I've ever met. Mm-hmm. I'm shocked at how good he is at lying.
Charm is deceptive.
It is.
And it's so, you wouldn't have heard my story, but there's so much similarity in that on the surface, they're doing one thing.
Yeah.
And then behind the scenes, just doing whatever they want, however they want, trying to make everything work for them.
Yeah.
Right? It's just devastating.
Oh, can you imagine? Because my children have let him back in. I've started to let him back in. And now we find out you're still living that double life and you're actively gaslighting everyone. And my kids have so many memories now, like looking back at
So
all the ways that he would gaslight them.
What does gaslighting look for a kid?
Him being in bed and I'm sleeping. She comes into the room. He's looking at his phone and he's whatever. and I'm guessing conversing with someone.
Sure.
And he hears her. He puts it flat and pretends he's sleeping. Then she says, "Dad?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah?" And he goes, "You're not asleep. I just saw you on your phone." "Oh, I must have been online banking in my sleep."
What?
Right.
Things like that.
Yeah.
"Can I use your phone to book an appointment?" You need to get your own phone. You can't use my phone. Right? Slamming computers down during the day. Right? Always keeping his phone so close to him. Like all the ways that you're telling your storyline, right?
Yeah.
With these kids.
Yeah.
Right? With your children. And so you can imagine the devastation of another tsunami wave of betrayal.
Yeah. So
and that was the final blow.
Now, is at what point was abuse used? At what point did you go, I am in an abusive situation and I need to get out?
In that year when we were separated,
Good.
seeing a therapist, working through, that was coming forward more and more and more. Okay. And I was growing stronger in my resolve, but I still was I was still protecting him. I was still absorbing all of it, like not telling the whole story so that there would be room for reconciliation and he wouldn't feel shame. Right? Still protecting
him.
Right.
Thinking about how he would feel.
How would he feel if everyone knew the full story? Like how much do we have to tell, not tell, like managing all those, because if I told the whole story, anyone would look at me as insane, right? Like, and you're looking at all of these, you're managing all of these things, and it's not meant to be managed, right? We're not built for this.
So we call that a preycation.
Yeah.
Like where the prey gets space.
Yeah.
And for the first time, you get part of the discombobulation as a technique to keep you always confused.
Yeah.
Right. So on a preycation, separation or time to get away, that's your time where, and they often don't like you having a preycation because they try to keep you confused even then.
Yeah.
Right? Just by inserting themselves and keeping you stressed and saying something nice and then something mean and then something nice and then something mean. Or they have some sort of pattern. But it sounds like that was your time to get enough space to actually start putting language.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I think when we go back to the fight element, it's about fighting for yourself, really.
Yeah.
So what do you need in that moment? And in some way, it sounds like you touched in with your own fire, your own needs, your own wants, your own inner whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so you can get up and leave, or you can get up and be present for your children. Because I know that there's this thing called in polyvagal theory, which I'm not an expert at, but they talk a lot about when you're safe and social, you're in this ventral state. But as trauma hits you, you can go into sympathetic, which is fight or flight. And if that doesn't work, you can go into shutdown. And it sounds like a lot of times in these situations, the predator wants you to go into shutdown because you stay and you're frozen and you're just there and they can do what they want.
Right.
And so you have to go into sympathetic, which is the fight or flight again, in order to get back to safety. So maybe it is a flight response where you fight for yourself, but you get out. Or it's literally fighting. So it's interesting to me because when you reestablish that flame for yourself, it's in a sense getting back to that sympathetic, getting back to safety for yourself, to be safe for yourself and for your children. Anyways, sorry, bringing that in.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Super interesting. So you're in this space, you find this out. This is the final straw, you're saying. Was that the moment that this kicked in? You realized, now I know who he is.
Yes. And yet I think it was the start. It was the resolve of it was terrifying. It's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I still had to, I think the biggest breakthrough came for me when I realized I had split him into two people. So the person who I loved, with the charismatic, the spiritual person, the father of my children, like all the ways that he was able to obviously, if he was pure like pure evil, and like 24/7 you would get like, you know what I mean? There had to be something that kept pulling me in, but I had separated them. So I was like, there's this other person, and I had to come to terms with the fact that it was one person consciously choosing.
Huge. This is
that
huge.
was a breakthrough. But let me tell you, it was so separated for me in my mind. It was like my inside mantra. I had to like all day, like when I think about it, I pine, right? Am I doing the right thing? Right. Also you feel like I've worked so hard for this all my life. It's like a puzzle, and you've only got 2 pieces left, and you're going to walk away. Really? Like that, the pain of that, right? You've worked so hard, and it's hard to let go of all of those years of effort. And I had to go all day. Like, he lies, he cheats, he steals. He stole a lot of money. He remortgaged our house.
I was curious about this.
He gave over $30,000 to that young affair partner.
For what?
I think I don't know.
Okay.
I think for a business opportunity.
Oh, I see.
For her, and also the flowers, the massages, the expensive gifts.
To love bomb her.
Yeah, except she was a catfish and totally got him in the end.
Oh.
She never showed up with the flight. Well, I don't know. He told my kids she never showed. He told me he never showed, but I saw the flights, but whatever. I don't know how that all played out.
Quite poetic, actually.
But karma,
Yeah, it's a bitch.
She's a bitch. So, but that moment when I had to like literally, he lies, he cheats, he steals, he knows what he's doing. He lies, he cheats, he steals, he knows what he's doing. Like, he consciously chose these things. He's not a victim. He's a perpetrator. He's not a victim. Because I painted him as the victim of trauma and all this, the empathy that I felt for the boy.
He painted himself as that.
He painted himself as that.
And you bought it.
And you bought it.
I did.
Well, that's what you said earlier. Love the boy, but what was it?
And then you can forgive the man.
Forgive the man.
Oh.
Well, he painted it, and you're loving.
Yeah.
And there's no way. Pray, do not think predatorily.
No.
You can't.
You can't cook up the storyline.
You can't. You can't.
I've said, how would you gaslight someone?
Exactly.
We don't know
tried to do that.
Yeah. I only have examples of what I've experienced.
Yeah.
I can't create new ones.
Yep.
Right?
And you don't even have there's no way for you to have a language for this, because it's not even in your wheelhouse. You're prey.
Yeah.
And so he says, I'm a victim. You go, yeah, I can see that. Makes sense. And you think to yourself, if I was a victim and I was traumatized, I might have done some of these things too.
Yeah.
And you benefited all the things we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You did. And there is not, that's part of why we're here, because there is not a message of, maybe with some people who are predators, that gift that you give ends up hurting yourself. And that is a gift that you give out of beauty, but it is not something you will receive back.
Yeah.
When you don't receive it back, what is the language that we need to have as prey? I did not get anything back. Yeah. I did not receive kindness. I did not receive a bridge. I did not receive respect. I did not receive equality.
I didn't even receive safety.
Thanks for listening, and be sure to tune in next week to hear more of Sophia's incredible story. For more resources, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Prey vs. Predator, the podcast. If you like this content, please consider supporting us on Patreon. You can choose between a one-time gift or a regular donation for less than a coffee. All donations go towards our production costs so we can continue to do this for years to come. See you next week.